Under the cola tree, our stories unfold. Drums speak the past in rhythms bold.
Did you know that under the Igbo traditional society was Igbo women's leader protecting justice, markets, and traditions? You're welcome back to Igbo Tradition, My Heritage. And today I'll be discussing a very interesting topic. Women's leader. If you have not subscribed to my channel, make do to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit that bell button so that anytime I drop a new video, you will get notification. Also, don't forget to like, share, and comment. Thank you. The women's leader. I said in one of my videos where I discussed about Igbo society not being a patriarchy, but a patrilineal, in the sense that Igbo traditional society, pre-colonial Igbo era, functioned as a dual-sex political system. Having said that, one of the women structured leadership was a supreme leader. Now, as a female leader was not what every Igbo community had. Most Igbo communities had as the female structured leadership as Umada Umobu Inyomudi, especially in the Igbo eastern parts, the heartland, Owerri, Ngwa, Mbise, and its environs. But the western part of Igbo community, like the Anioma people, Okpalam, Ibuzo, Owashiuku, Ahaba, that call Asaba now, and Onitsha, that is at the riverine bank. They had a supreme female leader called Omo. Omo, like a lot of people misunderstand it to be a queen. Omo is not a queen, rather a female leader in charge of women, markets, protecting justice and traditions. Omo was not just a woman handpicked by the community. Omo was a woman selected by the ancestors. And once selected, she was expected to live a life of celibacy all through the days of her life. And if selected as a married woman, was expected to move out from her matrimonial home and return back to her natal home, where the community built an obi for her as her institutional office, where she operated with her cabinets, female cabinets of course, but that were handpicked. Omo was a woman that have gone the age of childbearing. Rarely, rarely a woman still menstruating was, selected by the ancestors. It was normally women that passed childbearing. And why, when selected, she was expected to move out of her matrimonial home back to the natal home is so that she would not be performing wifely duties. Because an Omu was seen as the mother of the clan, as the mother of the community. She was dedicated to protecting of the markets, justice, and traditions. A marketplace, when you hear market, under the Igbo traditional society, a market was not just a place of buying and selling. It was a very important place because that was place that information was shared, cultural exchange, trade, traditions, and spiritual rites were performed. And also very important community decisions were also taken in the market. And Omu was in charge of such. Omu is, or will I say, was not common in all the Igbo traditional society. Some parts of the Igbo communities had such. The western region of the Igbo society, the communities like the Anioma people, Ibuzo, Okpanam, Ogwashukwu, Asaba, and then Onitsha at the river bank. Heartlands and eastern region and southern region like Owerri, Ngwa, Mbisi, like I said, were Umada, Umokpo, Inyomdi. But in these areas that I mentioned, Omu was the female leader in charge, had the same power or the same rights like the female leader. Like the male leader, Obi. As Obi was seen as the father of the community, Omu was seen as the mother of the community. After, when an Omu was selected, there was an initiation, like a mockery funeral, which was seen as she being dead to her former self as a woman, but resurrected back as a man, or they said genderless. Mind you, I said she was expected to live a life of celibacy all through the days of her life. So, the women leader was a very, very important personality in the Igbo traditional society in the areas that I mentioned. She was a supreme female leader. She was in charge of the markets. She regulated, things that happened in the market with her cabinets. She made sure there was justice. She settled disputes amongst women in their marriages too. And she conducted rituals. Like I said, Igbo society, I don't know what I mentioned it here, is Igbo market was not just a place of buying and selling. But like I said, but a very important place. So when cleansing was done in the market, Omu was the one in charge of the cleansing. And being in charge of performing rituals, she was not expected to be in her, in her monthly cycle. So they will say the gods are wise, right? Why they choose a woman that have past childbearing. So Omo was a supreme female leader that worked alongside with the male leader Obi. She was not a queen, but a female leader. Very such an interesting thing to know about the Anioma people. That's the present day Delta State. I am loving this, my Igbo traditions that I am researching on. I keep seeing a whole lot of traditions that our ancestors really practiced or like and culture. So I will be stopping here to see you in my next video where I will be discussing another interesting topic on Igbo tradition, my heritage. Ibamakano Ndewon.
Under the cola tree, our stories unfold.